Welcome to The Life of You, the bonus episode from the life of Bryony, where we answer your questions and explore the real life challenges that come with caring for others while also trying to look after ourselves. I'm joined again by psychotherapist and author Sophie Scott, who shared so much wisdom in our last episode about supporting loved ones with mental health challenges and taking care of yourself at the same time. Today, Sophie's back to tackle your listener questions, from setting boundaries with family, to guilt about pulling away, to finding the balance between helping others and protecting your own well-being.
Sometimes, the greatest gift that we can do is to, detach with love. When it comes to boundary setting, people have to experience consequences sometimes to their behavior. Sometimes someone has to be on their knees in order to have that moment of realization.
Your questions answered right after this. This one is from Charlotte.
Okay.
And she says, my mum has bipolar disorder, and as much as I love her, she has always been unpredictable. When she's stable, she's amazing, but when she's manic or depressed, it feels like our entire family is held hostage by her moods. I'm in my 30s now and I feel guilty for pulling away, but I can't keep rearranging my life every time she has an episode. My dad enables her behavior and my siblings look to me to manage things, but I feel like I can't keep doing it. How do you step back from a parent's mental health without feeling like you're abandoning them? My heart goes out to Charlotte.
Yeah, me too. This is a big one. What I would say is that it's really important, Charlotte, that you know that this is not your responsibility. You cannot control this situation, nor is it your job to do so, right? You are, you've taken a very specific role in your family for a long time, but this is a role that you can put down. This was one that was given to you, not one that you chose. So what would it actually look like if you did step down? Would you actually be doing a disservice to your mom, or would it enable your other family members to step up? And so the only way that you're going to know is through implementing some boundaries and doing some behavioral experiments. So trying to do things differently, because you're in your 30s now, maybe you have a family of your own or you want a family of your own. And so it becomes about, identifying your own needs, because you have a right to needs. And also your mom, she, what you didn't say about kind of what her own relationship with her mental health, with her bipolar is. Can she be empowered to know more about the warning signs so that she also may be aware if, for example, a manic episode is coming about? And this is something that all the family members should know about, not just you. It's absolutely too much for any one person to be responsible for.
This is a really good question from someone called Josh. My brother has OCD and I feel like I have to enable his rituals to keep him calm. How do I help him without feeding the cycle? This is such an important question.
So to understand, Josh, that it's your brother, that your brother's compulsions are a symptom of something else that's going off. So these are ways that he's finding to ward off his own anxiety, I would suspect, right? So perhaps to let him know that you understand this and that you love him and give him that reassurance that you love him and that you're there to support him, but that it's not about kind of short-term relief, and that you actually don't think that that's serving him or helping him. Instead, how can you help him to get longer term, solutions in place? If you can encourage him to see a therapist, that would be, in my view, the very best thing. So looking at longer term strategies rather than that kind of putting a Band-Aid over something. That doesn't mean that you're going to sort of rip that Band-Aid off and don't try exposure therapy or do anything like that yourself. Be really patient and slow. Don't give him any surprises, but just let him know, perhaps in a moment where he's not overwhelmed, kind of what your thinking is. And if you can try and help him to find longer term strategies and much deeper insights as to what's going on for him, that would be much more beneficial.
So a conversation
Yeah.
when he's not in the compulsions.
Exactly.
About maybe what next time we find ourselves in this.
Can we agree to
that this is what I'm going to do instead?
Yes.
Very helpful. Okay, final question from Toby. I love my friend, but their mental health struggles mean I feel constantly emotionally drained. How do I balance supporting them with protecting myself?
So can you come up with things, maybe not a conversation, but activities that you enjoy doing together, So slightly divert the energy away from maybe needing to talk and support them. I don't know what you're into, right? So I won't let you know, Toby, but this idea of something that you would actually enjoy that maybe brings out a lighter side to the relationship and to them as well. And also, this is a really simple one, but quite hard to execute. Can you take up a bit more space in the relationship? Can you just start sharing a little bit more about yourself and what's going on for you in your own life, even if it's unprompted?
Because there are friendships like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
Where they can become quite wonky.
One-sided.
And it's very difficult once a friendship has got into that one-sidedness. It's quite difficult to pull it out of it.
It is, but it's never too late to set a new precedent. And the only way that you do that is just through trying something different.
Yeah. And I guess also, and this is a hard question to ask, and this is from me, that if you love someone who is unwell, but who refuses to help themselves and refuses to get help, it is okay to step back from that person because you can't enable them anymore.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Sometimes, the greatest gift that we can do is to, detach with love and recognize that somebody, you can't force somebody. They know their own path, Again, it comes to respecting a person's autonomy, even if they're not well. This sense of, we've each got our own garden to tend to, and I'm here to support you, and I have been. But actually, there is a limit to what I can do if you're not willing to come to the table and help yourself. And also, when it comes to boundary setting, people have to experience consequences sometimes to their behavior. Sometimes someone has to be on their knees. Maybe we've all experienced this. Sometimes you have to be on your knees in order to have that moment of realization. If someone keeps trying to rescue you or save you, you may actually sort of never get to the point where you've really got to find that autonomy and that sense of, I can only do this for myself. So you may be doing a disservice to them.
Right.
So
well. Detaching with love I love that phrase.
It's one from Coda and people in relationships with people struggling with alcoholism. It's really hard to practice. I'm not saying it isn't, but one more thing can I say? It's a model that I talk about in the book, and it's the idea of the good enough mother. And as a mum, it's definitely something that I need to keep reminding myself. But basically, so Donald Winnicott was this pediatrician, I think, and psychiatrist, and he came up with this idea of watching mums with their infants. And what he realized is that, yes, an infant needs, responsiveness and love and consistency, but also they need to gradually experience frustration, disappointment. And actually that builds the child's sense of their own independence and their own autonomy and learning. And actually, if a mom is trying to be perfect and, jumping in if the child is, ever in trouble all the time, then that child never learns for themselves. And I think, as I said, as a mom to a toddler, it's something that I'm constantly trying to remind myself, but also it's a really good model as a therapist, If I give you a solution and I don't help you to facilitate you finding that for yourself, then I am sort of stunting your growth. And I think it's the same actually in any relationships. You do not have to be the perfect partner or sibling or friend. What's it like to just be good enough?
Yeah. Let people learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, learn from
Instead of
themselves.
saving them from them.
Yeah.
A heartfelt thank you to Sophie Scott for sharing her advice and reminding us that sometimes stepping back with love is the kindest choice for everyone. Her book, You Are Not Alone in This, is available now, full of guidance for navigating the complex realities of caring for someone while also honouring your own needs. If anything in this episode resonated or gave you permission to protect your own well-being, please share it. And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Most importantly, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.